Hey, what's going on? Appreciate you stopping in and talk some New York Jets football with me. If this video is at all informative to you, a thumbs up is greatly appreciated. So just within the hour, teams started releasing their PUP list designations for training camp. And the New York Jets did list 5 players on the PUP list to start. Offensive tackles, George Fant, Mekhi Becton. Offensive guard, Drew Samia. Defensive end, Carl Lawson. And tight end, CJ Uzama. And right away, you're like, what? Physically unable to perform? That sounds daunting. Did somebody have a setback? No, they've changed the rule, so the PUP list really isn't as big of a deal as it used to be. There's a lot of flexibility within training camp. So this is a standard designation that teams give to players who are recovering from arthroscopic surgery from the previous year, right? Like Fant and Becton with the knee issue, Carl Lawson with the Achilles pop. We kind of assumed that this was going to be their designation to start camp. I think that this staff is going to be overly cautious this training camp preseason, given that we lost so many starters in August and September last year. So this is not a big deal because here's the big distinction. They're on the active PUP list. Now, where you'd worry if a player gets placed on the reserve PUP list, then they're ineligible to play for the first 6 weeks of the season. That's a big deal. That's like a mini injured reserve list. Okay, but there's no reason to believe that it's going to get to that point. Players can pop right off of the active PUP list and start jumping into team activities, jump into preseason games. Not a huge deal at all. Now, what's really encouraging is that Jamie Sherwood, linebacker, was not on this list, and he tore his Achilles in October. So that must mean that he's like far and away ahead of his recovery, good to go. And that's a great sign because he's probably the leading candidate to be that third backer in there with CJ and Quincy when we go 4-3. That's the good news. Now, the kind of concerning news is Jeremy Rucker a couple days ago was placed on the non-football injury list for some lingering plantar fasciitis in his foot. And the Jets knew about this when they drafted him, but Coach Saleh at that time said he was optimistic that Jeremy would get some work in the spring. That didn't happen. And now him not being ready to start training camp, I'm not going to panic until he starts missing actual games, but that could be a lingering issue to definitely keep an eye on. And hey, speaking about games, if you just want to get freaking fired up about this New York Jets 2022 football team, click this video right here. Subscribe if you're new. We'll talk ball soon.